video.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, our speaker. I welcome our speaker on behalf of AaRVF on this 1-hour CP session. Robert Kiyosaki on housing is an asset, not a liability. I would like to give a brief detail about the speaker. He is an American businessman and author. Known for the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series of personal finance book. He said that housing is a liability, no, not an asset. This idea privileged widely and has created misunderstanding. Dr. Valuer and housing finance expert prove with a simple financial model to show that housing is actually an asset, not a liability. Now I hand over the session to our speaker. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Yeah. So thank you very much for inviting me to speak today for the AaRVF, where I went there to speak in New Delhi last October. Thank you very much for inviting me for this session. This session about the proposition of Mr. Robert Kiyosaki about his statement about housing is a liability. And because of this, many people may not invest in housing, or maybe they just invest in income producing properties, which is not possible for many ordinary people. And this create misunderstanding and also wrong investment. That's why I try to prove this for our valuers. We are valuers. We value a lot of properties like a house, a home, office buildings, a mine, or a factory, or many other things. we all know that properties may divide it into two. That is income producing properties and also author properties. Actually, our house is also income producing properties, but normally we won't value by market approach. We won't value by income approach because there are so many comparable properties. We can value by market approach. But comparable income producing properties like hotels, apartments for rent, we will value by income approach because we just put it for rent. However, a house can be put for rent as well. So this is what I try to propose. Maybe you can kindly change my slide for me, please. In your Madam UMB, you can change my slide for me. Maybe you can go to page number 2. Did you see my slide? If you see my slide, you can kindly tell cannot. Okay. Maybe you can kindly click on the slide for me, please. Slide number 2, that is myself, as introduced. I'm a valuer by profession. I study valuation from the Lincoln Institute of Land Policy in Boston, Massachusetts. And I also study in author like housing from the Catholic University, some authors. So maybe you can kindly show me if you can help me show your the slide for me, please. Okay. You. So my slide is about the my second page is about myself, but just a brief introduction. So as I said, I study valuation and housing in development from Catholic University, Lubang, and also human settlements from the Asian Institute of Technology, where I know so many Indian friends. I have so many great Indian friends there in the Asian Institute of Technology. So can you show me about the slide? If you can see the slide, kindly tell me because I myself cannot see the slide. And if you want to communicate with me, you can use WhatsApp. In my desktop, I use what I can see the WhatsApp. But why I use this mobile phone, I cannot see my WhatsApp from my mobile phone. So maybe you can contact me if there is anything. You can contact me via WhatsApp. Okay. My page number 3, I just show you my book that is about housing finance mechanism. Housing finance mechanism in Thailand. I wrote this paper for the United Nations Habitat. As you may know, United Nations Habitat is the United Nations organizations dealing with housing around the world. So in the case of Thailand, I wrote this book around 100 pages or two about housing finance mechanism. So if you want to understand the housing finance mechanism, and particularly the case of Thailand, you can go to that page. So that book. And this is, you can download for free. The United Nations Habitats, they won't mind. You can download for free. So I encourage you to go to my book, Housing Finance Mechanism, so that you can see my book correctly. So Madam Miss Priyanka, Miss Priyanka, maybe you can write to me in your WhatsApp whether you can show my PowerPoint or not. If you can show me and you can go page by page according to what I told you. Maybe you can write to me, Miss Priyanka. Miss Priyanka. Okay. Okay. So page number 4. Page number 4 is the proposition said by Mr. Robert. He said, your house is not an asset. Your house is something about liability. Yeah. Can you show?
चायनाचे लोक नाही तर कोरियाचे असतील असेच लोक असतील चायना का खूप
And yes, can you show me? Yeah. And then what I can tell you is that okay. Okay. Can you see me? Hopefully you can see me. So the proposition of Mr. Robert is that despite what many financial experts said, your home is not an asset. Mr. Robert said that your home is not an asset. And he said that knowing the difference between an asset and liability is the key to understanding. And he also said that investment properties are asset because they put money into your pocket. Okay. Whereas instead of taking money out of it, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki said that if you buy a house or something, that will be the thing that they will the asset. It is not an asset; it is a liability because they take out the money from your pocket. Okay, so that is page number 4. So I try to see my WhatsApp here, but I cannot see the response from Miss Priyanka, or maybe some other people. Maybe kindly tell me whether you can see my Madam Manasi. Can you see me or some other people? So respond
You
to
are
me.
visible. You know, insofar as your thing is concerned, you are visible, but we can't see your presentation.
Oh,
Your
I see.
presentation is not visible. I can hear you, I can see you,
Yeah.
but your presentation is not visible.
I don't know why.
So what happened is there is a button, you know, when you are giving this presentation, there is a button that you will see underline the panel which says share. If you press that button,
No, now I use my mobile phone because of the I don't get to my file. See the file already. So
okay, so you're using mobile phone to present it.
yes, sir. That's why I cannot.
Okay, then it will be a challenge for you to put in your
कैसे हो
presentation.
बॉस
So,
But
तो
I
ये क्या
see,
तुम्हारे पास उसके भी है क्या आइस के भी
but the
the problem is,
presentation to the organizer.
who is
already.
having your, does Priyanka have your presentation?
Yeah, I send the
Give
presentation
me a
to
minute,
Miss
I will connect. Give me a minute, I will connect with her and ask her to do this. Give me a minute. Wait for a minute,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, but by this time I can just talk first
ये देखिए
because
इसके क्या रेट के पड़ेंगे
so when we have awards on this calculation, I hope by that time we can go into my presentation. But right now, Miss Priyaka, who is the operator, the moderator, a moment ago, maybe she disappeared. So she did not show me the presentation. Okay, so now let me go a little bit further. So according to Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, he said that we should buy investment properties as an asset because they put money into your pocket. On this part, it is true. Like I own a hotel. Now I own a hotel around 100 rooms. Every day, money get into my pocket. This is true. But buying a house is also something that we can earn something. Okay. Yeah, we can also earn something. So this is what I try to propose. On my paper, page number 4, but I can just read to you. No worry. When we come to the calculation, maybe I can show you. There is a difference between asset and liability. And we all know that this is then, and also have some reference on this. This is from NI Business Info. In this case, what is an asset? we understand that asset are resources that can be tangible or intangible that your business owns and that can provide you with future economic benefit. And they add value to your business. They can also help you meet other commitment and increase your equity. So this is something about the asset. So this is something like if we own something like a hotel or something like an apartment, this means that there can be some reliable properties. Okay, what is a liability? Right now you cannot see it, but no problem. I can tell you it for you. Liability, as we all know, is a debt. Liability is, as we know, is a debt. That is something about debt that it is business debts or obligations. We have obligation. Our responsibility is the obligations, which you can, which you need to fulfill in the future. We need to fulfill in the future, and this is the money you need to repay. The money that we need to repay, and the goods you need to provide for the service you need to perform. Okay, so this is something about the liability, and these obligations or responsibilities arises out of past transaction and need to be settled through the company's asset, through our asset. So this is what we call the liabilities. And let me go to page number 6. That is the what are the liability? What are the liability? The liability is something that we can understand. That is the bank overdrafts. The bank overdrafts is something about the liability. That is the bank overdraft. In the case of bank overdraft, they can also be account payable or sales tax. When we have our valuation cases, we also have sales tax. So that is something we have to keep in mind. So our sales tax, and also we also have something about the one moment, sir. Hello. ติดซูมอยู่ so in this case the sales tax, payroll tax, income tax, all the taxes are something that we consider the liability, and also the wages, like our valuation firms. The slide came already. Maybe we go to page number 6, please. Page number 6, please. Page number 6. Wages, like my valuation firm, I have 100 people. 100 people. This means that we have to pay the wages to our valuation firms. I pay around 3.6 million or around 7 million rupee every month to my employees for the wages. So this is something that we pay, and that's all. We do not get it back, except they get their work. Hire them to do the work for me. They are my valuers, they are my researchers. So this is something that we have to leave. Okay, or maybe loans, short-term loans, not long-term loan, like housing loan. Housing loan is long-term loan, but this is short-term loans and outstanding expenses. So these are something, as we can see, that the nature of liability is we pay and it disappear. It won't help us anything. They just pay and disappear. Definitely, they can get something back, like wages. We hire them to do something, and at the end of the month, we pay them. And it won't come back because the work from day number 1 of the month until day number 38 of that month, and then we pay them the salary. Their job already done before we pay. Okay, so this is what our understanding of the current liability. So this is a very good delineation between asset and liability. Something that will incur more value in the future. I will show you this. Go to page number 7, please. Page number 7, please. Yeah. And the non-current non-current liability. What are those non-current liabilities? That is a bond payable and capital leases, mortgage, debt. Like myself, I have a hotel, as I told you, 100 room, and I have another piece of land I lease for 30 years and build my own office buildings. Okay. I have to pay capital leases, the lease of the land. When we build the house, when we build the buildings, we build the building for around 300 million rupee, 300 million rupee, or 150 million baht something. And I need to pay the capital leases for the land. But in my case, I pay them already in full amount on day one. I do not pay them day by day, but I just pay them around 150 million rupee, 150 million rupee for the land for 30 years. But in theory, I need to pay them, pay the owners every year. And that is, it all go. And then after 30 years, the asset will belong to the owners, return to the owner. I occupy only year 0 until year 30, year 0 until year 30 only, not forever. And the capital leases that I give for them is something that will be just there. It will be just pay and no more, nothing come back, because my lease period is just only for 30 years. Okay. But in my case, I just pay them in full at the beginning, on day one, so that there is no more obligation for me to pay them. Okay. And apart from capital leases, there is also something about mortgage, debt, and similar, and also long-term borrowing, pension liabilities, and defer revenue and taxes, and securities, and note payable. So these are all related to non-current liability. Okay, and this is you can see the reference from nibusinessinfo.co.uk. So you can go to see this in further details. Say, now we come to see the reality about the house price in India. You know better than me. I know you know a lot better than me. However, I like to tell you that this is the case that I found on page number 8. Kindly go to page number 8, please. On page number 8, you can see that India home prices to rise 7% this year and next. You mean this year is 2024. 2024 home price in India will increase 7%. They expect that home price in India will increase another 7% in the year 2025. So this means that home price is going up. If we buy the house and it belongs to us in the mortgage, we can own, we can use it, and we also have capital gain that is 7% per annum. So this is something that we should understand. So it is an asset, okay? And another news, they say that house prices in India shot up 15 times over the last 3 decades. You see, a study showing that house prices in India increased 15 times over the last 3 decades. So this is a very high increase indeed. So this is our case. I remember that I went to India the first time in in the year 2000. In the year 2000, I went there in India. I still see so many slums and squatter settlements in New Delhi. But last year, when I went to New Delhi again, there should be very few slums and squatter settlements in India. So everything is improving, and house price is also increasing. Land is also increasing in prices. So it is not worth to just let people squatters or just rent the land for people to build their own home or something. So they should do something else. So because of the house price increase, land prices increase. So this means that there is a big capital gain. So if we buy a house, it will be a good gaining in the future. Okay. So next we go to page number 9. This page number 9, this is changing of house prices in India. This is from trading economics. This trading economics have a lot of information, but for valuers, I would like to tell you that if you are a valuers and you need in-depth information about India or about any sector in the world, trading economics is a good source of information. However, you need to pay, okay? You need to pay to buy these informations. It is not free. But for the brief information, like I show you here, according to the link, it is all free, okay? But if you need to know something in further details, like if you want to know the capitalization rate of hotel, 3-star hotels or 4-star hotels in anywhere in the world, including India, you can buy information from them. It is not free. There are so many other sources of information as well. I remember that when I value an aircraft, I also have to buy the data on transaction of aircrafts in the world, so that I can make comparison to the transaction of aircraft in Thailand. The transaction that I conduct the valuation is in Thailand, but I need information about the sales of aircraft around the world in the same types, the same years of production or something, so that we can make good comparison. So in this case, when we want to value some complex properties, we need to invest in buying reliable information. Okay, but according to these figures on India residential property prices, you can see that the increase may be as high as around 25% per annum, but now it may be around 3-4% per annum. So this means that now property price, every year property price is increasing in India. However, the rate of increase may be slow down. The rate of increase is slowing down. So, however, the increase is still going up, is still growing. I mean, still have a lot of increase, but it is not as high as in the past. So this means that we still have capital gain. Do you think property price will go down? House price will go down? It can be. House price may go down. I remember that in the year 1997, there was a big crisis in Bangkok. I remember that in the year 2008, there was a big crisis in the United States of America. House price dropped. But in ordinary period, like today, this year, next year, there should be no big slump in land price. So land price still going up. And it may drop for only 1 or 2 years. So no worry. Maybe a big drop, say 10% per annum for 2-3 years. That's all. Okay. This is the experience in the case of Thailand. Please go to page number 10, please. On page number 10, you can see this is the house price indexes. This is a global property tight. This is another case. In the global property price in the case of India, there is house price in different different cities. Say in Mumbai, New Delhi, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad, yeah, Lucknow, Kolkata, I was there, Chennai there, Jaipur, Kanpur, or Kochi. Maybe you can see that Kochi and Kanpur and Jaipur maybe not much increase compared to others. But the rest, you can see really big increase indeed, particularly in Mumbai, very big increase. So this is increases that we can see. But you can see that all of them, in all the cases, house price is increasing and not decreasing. So if we buy a house, it should be a good capital gain, more or less a capital gain. Okay. However, if you buy a vehicle, you buy a Mercedes, you buy a Toyota, or you buy any car, the price will drop. Say if you buy for 10 years, the price may drop. Every year may drop more than 15% per annum. The price may drop 15% per annum. So this is a very big drop. So it is not a very good investment, but we can use that car to do some business. Like we can use the vehicle for carrying, for logistics or something. But the price of the car is decreasing a lot because of the depreciation. The price of the car will decrease a lot because of the depreciation. However, this is a very important point, that is, in the case of a house, there is also depreciation. In the case of a house, there is also depreciation. However, the depreciation is less than the appreciation. Say, if we build a house 30 years ago, if we if we build a house, it may cost 100. But today, after 30 years ago, if you build a house, it may cost you 400. Instead of 100, it may cost you 400. For 30 years, the depreciation might be around 50%. So if you do the replacement cost approach, 4 million baht today, if you decrease half, 50%, you still leave 2 million. Whereas you built 30 years ago, it was 1 million. So this means that the depreciation is higher than the appreciation is higher than the depreciation, because the cost of materials, everything, cost of living, everything is increasing every year as well. Okay. So on page number 10, you can see that in altogether 10 major cities, there is increase in the house price, more or less. In particularly those big cities, it is increasing quite substantially. However, there is also a challenge. That is, house price may drop. House price may drop because the number of population may drop. But that not in the case of India. Maybe we can go to page number 11. Page number 11, please. Probably house price may drop because of the population drop. In the case of India, it may not be, because India is still growing in terms of population growth. Nowadays, as we know, population of India is increasing than China already. However, in the case of Thailand, we expect now we have around 66 million people in Thailand. 66 million only. According to our study, we guess that in the next 60 years, Thai population may decrease to 33 million. maybe many people may be afraid that there may be no more demand of housing because so many population disappear. In this case, we have to compare with Japan. Japan, the population now already decreased. However, as you may know, in India, in China, in Japan, every year they are still building around almost 900,000 housing units. 900,000 housing units out of 50 million existing housing units. So they built around 1.5% of their housing units. They still need to build new housing. Because of what? Because there may be more people who stay single and more people who are single mom or single parents, single dads. So they need their own house. So in this case, even if population drop, new housing start still going on, not decreasing. So don't worry about the decrease in the population and may decrease in the house price. Okay. On page number 11, there is also something about housing in Thailand. You can see that housing price in Thailand also increasing, similar to India. So no worry. What Mr. Robert said is not true. Housing price is increasing in Thailand. Page number 12, please. This page number 12 is our survey. What we found? We found is that according to the survey of housing projects in Bangkok that are currently offered for sales, what we found is that house price in the market, some of them increase, some of them decrease, and some of them stable. But we can see some small increase to some extent, okay? Except the last half year of 2023, there are some decrease. This is old house, or sorry, page number 13, page number 13. You can see that this is another respect of the housing price. This is the old prices of housing, the same housing unit that we survey every year. You see, since 1991, 1992, 1993, until 2023, this is all together or more over 40 years. What we can find is that house price increased and during the crisis it decreased and then increased again. But there are some housing estate, housing projects or housing types that not increase. You see the line below, that is the low price condominiums. Low price condominiums or social housing. Low price condominiums or social housing. In the case of low price condominiums, the price not increased anymore. Why? Because of poor maintenance. Very poor maintenance for low price housing. For low price condominiums, the price down because there are a lot of defects, a lot of problems in the communities, in the social housing projects. So if we want to invest in housing, you should not invest in social housing or cheap housing because there will be a lot of defect, poor maintenance, and price of the house won't increase. I went to Nepal. In Nepal, there was a motto saying that if you buy something cheap, you will cry several times. Cry several times. If you buy something expensive, you will cry once. If you buy something expensive, you will cry once when you pay, but the quality is good. But if you buy something cheap, like cheap shoes, cheap shirts or something, you will cry several times. There might be some defect that is not good for you. So this is the case of low price condominiums or social housing. For those who stay there, maybe very poor maintenance. So in this case, house price is not increased, but the rest, house price is increasing quite substantially. So there should be no worry. Okay. Then we go to page number 14. Number 14, you can see that during our survey, my company is the largest real estate information center. So we found in the case that location in different location in Bangkok, you can see that house price is increasing. Many of the housing units are increasing in different price range and also in different cases. So these are the house price increase. So we divided into 20 locations for your consideration. Okay. So, but you may not know the location of it in Bangkok, but at least you can see that every 6 months, house price increase quite substantially in different locations. Okay. Next, please. Page number 15, please. In page number 15, one thing you can see is that we have to understand that sometimes house price may drop because of over borrowing. This may not happen in India. In Thailand, we can borrow money up to 110 or 120% of the market price. Really amazing. In India, I think that can happen. But in Thailand, sometimes borrow more than the value of the properties of the house. So when they cannot repay the loan, they have to sell it. And the banks will seize their property to resell in the market. They cannot resell at 120% of the property price. So they just release it at around 100%. So many people may misunderstand that there is a big drop in housing price. Actually, it is not a drop. This is some technical drop only, because in Thailand, they borrow up to 110, 120%, particularly for those public servants. Public servants, they borrow a lot of money without proper collateral. Okay. The second technical price drop is the poor estate management. I mean, they have no the management of the condominiums, management of the housing estates are really poor. So because of the poor management, property price go down. Of the depreciation of the infrastructure and amenities. This is the case. And number three, maybe the houses may be haunted. Some people may be afraid of ghosts. They may think that there is a ghost in the house. So maybe some people commit suicide in that house, that condominium units. So they cannot be sold easily. Or maybe there are some murders. So that can happen, but that are some exception. My Indian professor taught me that exception cannot be made norm. This is a phrase I learned from my Indian professor when I study at the Asian Institute of Technology. Exception cannot be made norm. Okay. So that is some technical house price drop that may make us misunderstood that the house price drop now. It is not really drop. In the statistic, house price still going up more or less. Okay. Page number 16, please. Emphasize to you that when we analyze properties or when we invest in properties, there are two terms: returns. That is return on investment. That is a rent, and also the second thing is the return of investment. That is the capital gain. The capital gain as well. So our property price increased. When we bought it, it was 1 million. 3 years later, it become 3 million. So this is the capital gain of 2 million. And also during the period, we can also rent the property. So this is something that we have to keep in mind when we conduct the valuation of properties or when we invest in properties. Actually, they are number 3, but I did not wrote it there. Number three is if we buy or invest in real estate, it is another step for development. We buy this one for rent, and then we buy another one. When we buy another one, so when we buy more and more, we will increase our portfolio. They will increase credibility. We also increase our dignity. So that is the case of the return, but that may be something more subjective. Okay. Now we go to our analysis on page number 17, please. Number 17, as we know that when we value properties, and this is our formula that we know, that is value is equal to the I divided by R. I, as we know, that is the net operating income, NOI or I, the net operating income after vacancy and expenses. So that is our net operating income, NOI. Whereas the R, the big R, consists of small r. Small r is the safe rate. In Thailand, you may know that our deposit rate in Thailand is less than 1%, whereas our loan interest rate is around 6%, 5 to 6%. I learned from India that your deposit interest rate may be 7.5%. Your loan interest rate may be 9%. So the gap between the loan and the borrowing, the loan and the deposit is only 1.5 or 2%. But in Thailand, 1% to 6%. The difference between the gap between deposit and borrowing interest rate is 5%. That is too high. Okay, so normally we won't use the deposit interest rate, but we use the safe rate, that is the bond interest, government bond interest. Government bond interest right now it is 3.5%, 3 to 3.5%. So that is our safe rate. And then another thing is the growth, projected growth of the NOI. That is in terms of minus. Projected growth of the NOI is that our income producing properties. When the net income is increasing, this means that the value of the property is increasing. The value of the property is increasing because our projected growth
Mute
of
the person who is cross-talking.
projected growth of NOI maybe 1 or 2% per annum that can happen. Okay, but if the projected NOI is decreasing, this means that our property might not be good. So that is on the contrary. On the contrary. So G is the projected growth of the NOI, and also tax, and also risk. Risk is something that we have to understand thoroughly. That is a risk premium. That is allowance of the allowance for risk, illiquidity, and investment management. Like what? Say, if we value the coffee shop in Thailand, last year they may have a new 100 coffee shop in this particular area, but after 1 year we found that 10 of them bankrupt. So this means that the risk premium of coffee shop business is 10%. 10 out of 100 bankrupt. So this is the risk is 10%. So this is one way to calculate the risk premium. In statistics, there are also some formula to calculate the risk premium. Maybe we can tell you later in other classes how to use statistics to estimate the risk premium. The illiquidity You may know that a house may be sold within 3 months in Bangkok, 3 months. But some exceptional houses may need more. Some houses may need even 5 years to sell. So this means that it is not easy to sell. Maybe they are in the poor location or they are in the wrong location or something. So this is the illiquidity. And the investment management, that is, the risk is depending on the management of our properties as well. Say, like if we own 2 hotels together in the same area, one hotel, the management is very industrious. They go to find customers to come into the hotels. Another hotel, the manager may be too lazy. So there is not much income stream into the hotel. So the management is also something that we have to think of the list as well when we value the hotel as our subject properties. When we see the comparable properties, and then we consider our subject property. If our subject property, the management is very well, so this means that it is very good for our value. Okay, so this is something about the formula that we use. Sometimes we also use the discounted cash flow. You see, in the case of a hotel, inflation, we will use the discounted cash flow for say 5 years, 10 years, 8 years, 7 years, depends. Then we use the direct capitalization. However, if the hotel is there for more than 5 years or 10 years, we have no need to run any discounted cash flow. No need to run the discounted cash flow because we can use direct capitalization. The stream of income is very stable. Okay. Next, please, page number 18. In page number 18, this is the payment per period in year or months or something. So if the loan multiplied by these figures, you can use this in Excel as well. However, this is the real formula to calculate the payment per period. Okay, so you can calculate this, and in many cases, the payment that you pay every month or every year at the beginning of the year is really most of the payment go for interest. So that is a sad story because we pay too little. Okay, so this is what we need to know. Next, please, page number 19. This page number 19, you say that if we have a house of 1 million rupee or 1 million something, 1 million baht, 1 million baht house may be not applicable in India. Maybe at least should be 2 million rupee. I don't know. Say to be easy. Maybe we said the house price that we bought is 1 million. Okay. House is not a liability. It is an asset because we can use that house for rent. If we can rent to other people or we can rent to ourselves. If I have no house and we buy a house as my first home, so we have no need to rent in any other places. We rent our own home. Otherwise, maybe we become street dwellers or slum dwellers who sit on the sidewalk. Okay, so if we are first home buyers, we buy the house, so we rent our own home. Okay, say a house on line number 4, a house 1 million, you can rent around 5.5%. That is in Thai context. So amount of net rent is around 55,000 on line number 6. 1 million multiplied by 5.5%, it is 55,000. Okay, this is the annual rent. So every month, every year, we earn from our properties, our home, around 55,000. And this 55,000 we said that, okay, if we capitalize it at the capitalization rate as 5%, and the increase in rent or per year on line number 8 is 1.5%. Every one year we have an increase of the rent of 1.5% for a period of 30 years or perpetually. Say we say that's 30 years. In this case, line number 10, that is the present worth of one per period. The present worth of one per period, that is according to the calculation that I show you on the notes on the right. You can see that is the note on the right. And if you use this, you can see that it is 18.39. And this 18.39, if you multiply by 1 million, multiply by 55,000, say C10 multiplied by C6, C6 is 55,000 multiplied by 18.339. So this means that the net present value of the rent is 1 million, over 1 million. So this means what? This means that the first day when we buy a house and we put it for rent, or we put it for us, for the homeowner to rent ourselves. So this means that we can earn around 1.1 million baht or 1.1 million rupee. Yeah. If it is liability, we cannot make this money. But since the house is an asset, so we can make this money. So this is the return on investment that we have a right. We have a right to make money out of our home. If we pay just liability and that's all, we have no right. But here we have the right to pay to earn from the rent. Okay. And on the contrary, page line number 12, if house price increased 3% per annum, I just show you the case of India, the case of Thailand. The average may be around 3% per annum. If we increase the price 3% per annum for 30 years, so it increased 2.43 times. 2.43 times. So our house, 1 million today, in the next 30 years, it will become 2.4. So we buy a house today, 1 million. But in the next 30 years, it will, in the year 2054, now 2024, in the year 2054, 30 years next, our house will be priced at 2.4 million. You see, this is our asset. Definitely our asset. We can make money. We can make money out of our house. We are not just paying something that no more. We just borrow the future money to pay for the house, and then we repay for our future money. But at that time, when we buy it, we can rent it out to ourselves or to any other people. So this is the proof to show you that a house is an asset, not a liability. Okay. Next, please. Page number 20, please. In page number 20, on page number 20, page number 20, please. On page number 20, you can see that if a house of 1 million, okay, if you get loan 100%, so this means that the amount of loan on line 6 is 1 million, okay. And if the annual interest rate is 5% for a loan of 30 years, so this means that every month you have to pay 5,368 baht. 5,368 baht. However, for the first month, the interest for the first month, if you borrow 30 years or 360 months, the first month, you have to pay 4,167. Why? 4,167. So this come from where? This come from 5% divided by 12 months multiplied by 1 million. So it become 4,167. So this means that the amount of equity you pay is only 1,002 baht only. 1,202 baht only. Most of the money go for interest. Okay, this is for the first month. However, you can see column D. In the column D, what you can see? In this case, line number 5 is different. On line number 5, you can see that we borrow only 80%. We borrow only 80%. If we borrow only 80%, this means that number 12, line number 12, the amount of equity payment in this case, you can see that we can still have saving money for this. And the net monthly rent that we can earn on line number 14, the net money rent that we can earn. In this case, if it is around 4,583, you see column C, the interest line number 11, the annual, the amount of interest, the amount of monthly payment is 5,368. Okay. But on line number 14, the net monthly rent is 4,583. So this means that the rent that you get from the renters, the rents that you get from the renters is not enough for repay to the banks, because you borrow so too much, borrow 100%. For those who borrow 120%, that is even worse. Okay, so this means that if you borrow too much, it will be a burden. But if you do not borrow much, like in the case of column column D, in the case of column D, you can see that in column D, the rent that you get from your renters is enough or more than the amount of monthly repayment that you have to pay every month. So you need to have some down payment. In India, I heard that you have a very good discipline. Your down payment may be 80%, 85%. But you may know that in Thailand, many people borrow 100%. That is the lack of discipline in the case of Thailand. That is something that will be worried. So this is something that we to consider in mind. Okay. So next, last page, please. Next page, please. So in this case, you can see that if you cannot afford to buy a house, producing properties, say you cannot buy your first own home, how can you buy rental apartment for rent? Rental, if you buy if you buy a hotel, definitely you will earn money, because that is through income producing properties. Like I told you, I own a hotel, I own an office building for rent. Every month we earn around say 100,000 US dollar per month without any debt. That's only the net income. So in this case, it is a good idea to buy income producing properties. But for ordinary people who have no home, who cannot afford to buy a house for their own, they need to buy a house of their own. And that house is an asset for them because they can rent their own house. And when we calculate, we can earn around 1 million. And the house will increase 2.4 times. So this is a good idea to buy a house. So if we just say that we should not buy a house for our own, we should rent a house and then we buy a house for other people to rent. This is not a good logic. So we need to reconsider. Next page, please. Next page, please. Yeah. Next page. So this is the end of my presentation. So I always like to show this photo. I was there in Nagpur a few years ago before COVID-19, and then I went to see some historical place. And fortunately, on that day, it was the Independence Day of India. I saw so many youngsters who are very proud of being an Indian. I myself is a Thai, but I love India. So I also asked them to allow me to be a flag waver in India. So that is my presentation. If you have any question or something, you may kindly ask me. No worry, I will try to answer as much as I can. Thank you very much for your attention. Any
Dr. Sopon,
sir?
thank you for your presentation. Basically, there are two contrasting things between Thailand and Indian housing market. One is the interest rates are around 10%.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Second thing is the rental return is approximately 2 to 3% in most of the markets in India. So in this contrast, maybe in some parts of India, major parts of India, owning housing is a liability actually.
Again, please. Sorry, again, please. Again, please. I cannot.
No, what I'm telling you, sir, in India, the housing interest rates is around 9 to 10%.
Yes, sir.
Around 9 to 10%. And the rental return is 2% of the capital investment. Only 2 or 3% in most of the markets. Except some major residential hubs. Only 2 or 3%. Except some major cities.
I see.
So this is actually by taking a loan and making an asset is not that much feasible in India compared to your Bangkok market.
I see. So you will go for stock market investment instead of housing or something. What is your suggestion?
Stock market is a speculative market actually. That I cannot comment, sir.
Sir, there is one more question which I want to ask. What is the law relating to the eviction of the tenant in Thailand? You know, if you were to ask your tenant to evict the property, is the law favor the landlord? Because that is a risk factor which you need to count.
Actually, we have the legal execution department, our legal execution department to sell the properties of the people. But sometimes it is not so effective. When we sell that properties, the house owner, some of them still there. They do not want to go away anywhere. Sometimes there are some fighting that also happen. So I think the government should provide temporary housing and just use police power to take them away so that we can sell those houses and make it more liquidity, more liquid.
No, how much time as of today? What government will do, that is the political process we are not getting into. At this point of time, how much time would it take to evict the tenant who is not interested in getting out from the property? At this, what is the position presently? How much in terms of years, if somebody were to?
It can be 1 or 2 years.
At the max.
Yeah, the thing is, if we are experts, like in the US, what they call is the relocation experts. We need to negotiate with the owners or with those people and try to let them move away. Try to compensate them a little more sometimes so that they will go. Something similar to try to evict slum dwellers out of the slums so that we can build new development in the slum, in the hub of the city that become prime location. So maybe we have alternative for them, like we provide housing at the back for them, building elevated walk-up apartments for them, and the land and on the main road we can build some commercial developments. We have to give them some compensation. I think it should be okay if they can get some money and let them go. Negotiation is very important.
That means,
Otherwise,
that means
because
problem is one and the same all over the world.
maybe take time.
Well, see, I did some calculation in India. The return on the property is somewhere around 12%. If you calculate the return on the property over a period of 30 years since 2000 to till now, let's say you take 1998 as a base and you do it till now, average return, average CAGR, compounded annual growth rate in the property is somewhere around the long-term growth, the long-term return on the property in India is somewhere around 12%. That
Wow,
is,
very low.
that money is getting double every 6 years.
True.
And the rental, a friend of ours suggested, rental in most of the premium location, the rental is somewhere around 2%. I bought a property where the rental was somewhere around 5.5%. But that's something which is not easily traceable. Typically, if you get a property which is giving you a rental of somewhere around 5.5 to 6% in India, your hypothesis that your property, real estate is an asset, not a liability, will hold true. However, if you don't, then when you buy the property, you are basically relying on the past return that like what I did was I have a 50-50, I gave 50%, 50% was the loan portfolio. So I know if the property is going to go up by, let's say, 12% over the next 5 years, then then if the loan amount is at 8%, so I'm making money on the loan component also, 4% I'm making money on the loan also. But that's only if the rate of interest is if the rate of return by way of a rental yield is 5%. Otherwise, it remains somewhere around 2 to 2.5%. Capital appreciation is 12%. Rental is somewhere around 2 to 2.5%. Put together, it will be somewhere around 14%, which is very good. I mean, provided it stays for a long term.
Yes. So this means that in this case, this means that the increase, the capital gain, the return of investment or capital gain is a lot more than the rent. And this can happen particularly in India, in the case that you're still growing in a lot of population. So demand is high. I compare to Thailand, the house price, the house cost, and the land cost. House is say 1 million, and the land is 2 million. So altogether, the house price is 3 million. Land 2 million. Building is 1 million. So altogether 3 million. And this is on the contrary to USA. USA land maybe 1 million. The house may be 2 million because of high cost of capital, high cost of labor. So they become 3 million. But I heard that in the case of India, maybe building
otherwise,
and land price may be 5 or something because land price is scarce. So in this case, there are people who want to buy a house. In a few years, they just sell it and make money and can get higher return from better. This is also also very good in India, and this also Housing is an asset, not a liability.
Huh?
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. Provided the capital appreciation really stays. You know, in 2008-9, when there was when there was a financial disaster, the property price in India went down by around 30 to 40%. So those people who bought the properties in, let's say, 2007 or 8 really suffered. It's only in the last 2 years that the property prices in India have gone up considerably. Otherwise, there were some challenges. So on a longer term, you know, if you take a very long horizon, if you take a horizon of, let's say, 15 years or 25 years, then considering that India, you have a demography, you've got a younger population which want to buy more houses, at least for the next 25 years, I do expect the property prices to stay or give the return with that is somewhere around 12%. So if you've got a 12% capital appreciation, 2.5% rental yield, your return on the money that you deploy, whether it is your own money or whether it is by way of a banking loan, will come out to be somewhere around 14.5%, which is a very good amount of return.
I see.
And it's quite safe. It's pretty safe. I mean,
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
but on a long term. But
Yeah.
thanks a lot. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Dr.
So
Sopon, one more question. Just
maybe if you can come, you may come to Thailand sometime. You are welcome. From time to time, Indian colleagues
Sir,
to
what-
come.
what was the rental yield during the COVID period?
Well, and if you just come for leisures, holiday or something, you are welcome to our school at least to have some coffee or something, or maybe
No,
you
over
can
a
organize
over a
something
cup of over a
in Thailand.
over a cup of coffee, I will have your advice as to how to invest in the Thailand property market. So
Sure,
I'll have the best of
help
both
you.
of the worlds.
Even if I'm not a broker, but I can help you.
No. It's not a. It's a. We belong to the same community.
Yes, sir. We are valuers.
We
But
are
at least I
valuers,
can
so we
recommend
belong
you
to the same
where to buy
community.
or something. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. Namaskar. And all the best for you. God bless India and valuers in India. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sir,
Bye
for
bye.
wonderful session.
Thank you, sir, for a
Yeah,
wonderful
welcome.
session.
Yeah. Welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye bye.